Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Guinea Bissau's president says that the situation is back under control after an attempted coup. Earlier in the day, gunfire was heard and armed invaders surrounded the palace of government. We hear from our correspondent in the region. Also, South Africa is ramping up for a return of classes and fewer restrictions to international travel for its nationals after it officially exits its fourth wave of the pandemic. And the first woman referee to take charge at the Africa Cup of Nations speaks to France 24 about her historic role. Salima Mukansanga says that she's very aware of what her achievement means to other sportswomen around the world. But first, people fled in the streets and banks shut their doors on Tuesday during an attempted coup in Guinea Bissau. Gunfire was heard in Bissau, the capital, and heavily armed men surrounded the palace of government where President Umaro Sissoco Embalo, who took office in 2020, is believed to have been attending a morning cabinet meeting. It's not clear if anyone within the compound was injured. Later in the day, Embalo did say that the situation was under control. Regional correspondent Karim Kamara speaks to us from Guinea-Conakry. Karim, so give us a bit of a sense as to what happened. Where do things stand at the moment?
Well, and since President Mbalo reshuffled cabinet on the 26th January this year without the blessings of the Prime Minister, tension automatically flared up between the two men. The Prime Minister, Nanu Gomez Nabian, was opposed to the cabinet reshuffle. There's another side to the story again. That has to do with the landing of one Airbus plane, and number A340 and in Bissau from Banjul, with undeclared consignment on board at the orders of President Mbalo. So this even led to the sacking of the commander in charge of public orders, Alfredo Malu. So who told President Mbalo that he has done a very big mistake by pushing him aside and then from the government. So, and the attack really today, and there was no surprise to the military and to politicians, but within the ordinary people was a surprise. So people were running helter-skelter, and then schools were closed, banks, everything went off like that. So, but as of now, as we speak now, we don't know yet how the situation looks like. So we have to wait because President Mbalo has assured the people of Guinea-Bissau that he was doing fine, and that very soon he will make a statement and he will be addressing the nation. So this is what people are waiting for to hearing from him.
Now, there's a wider context here. Guinea-Bissau has seen instability in the form of coups a lot since 1974. I believe it's 9 coups or coup attempts since then. Do you know the circumstances that led up to this specific attempt?
Well, as I told you earlier, that it has to do with a lot of, because and Guinea-Bissau is reputed to be a country where drug trafficking is really on the hike. So, and that plane that landed with a very huge consignment, and which was not really declared at least to the custom officers there at the airport. So that sparked up the differences between President Mbalo and his Prime Minister and members of government. So, and that's another aspect. As of we speak now, we really don't know yet who really was behind this attempted coup d'etat, because we have to wait until the dust itself settles down. That is to say, from now on to tomorrow morning. Then before then we'll be able to know exactly what I brought about this attempted coup d'etat. Since 1980. And the late president, João Bernardo Vieira, he was the prime minister, and he overthrew Cabral in 1980. He took over office as president with the Dominican Revolutionary Council that controlled the state. And the same thing happened again in 1998 when another failed coup, attempted coup, and was really crop up and led to a civil war. But Vieira survived that attempt because he was supported by Guinea, Conakry here, and Senegal. So he was able to survive that again. The same thing happened in 2003, and then when the army seized power and they pledged to restore democracy quickly in that country. So until then, now we have President Mbalo as president of Guinea. But that was after the death of Nino Vieira again. So this is how things stands for now. So we have to wait until tomorrow morning to know exactly those behind the attempted coup.
Thanks very much. Karim Kamara, the regional correspondent, speaking to us about the attempted coup in Guinea-Bissau on Tuesday. Now, Embalo is a former prime minister who took office just 2 years ago after 4 years of political infighting. His opponents cried foul at the time and accused him of a coup when he was sworn in before the vote had been ratified. Questions surrounding his win appear to have continued to feed discontent amongst some of his critics. Shirley Sitman tells us more.
When Umaro Sissoco Embalo ran for office in 2019, representing the opposition, the Electoral Commission announced that the former Prime Minister and Reserve Brigadier General had won the vote. But his rival from the ruling party contested results. When Umaro Sissoco Embalo was proclaimed president, the ruling party proclaimed another official interim president the next day. No matter the protest, the new president moved on, vowing to bring down corruption and drug trafficking.
Primeira coisa, não vai combater intolerância zero à corrupção. Não vai combater narcotráfico.
Guinea Bissau has been plagued by international drug trafficking for decades. For the new president, bringing trafficking down is key to attract investors and restart the economy. He has said that is why he worked to intensify partnerships and bilateral contacts with various countries, inviting the president of Portugal, the former colonial power, for the first time in more than 30 years, and traveling to Paris in October. President Emmanuel Macron vowed France would help Guinea-Bissau develop various sectors. During that visit already, officials at home warned the president that an attempted coup had just been averted.
Now, Norway said that it will not send, for now, troops to join a European Special Forces mission helping Mali in its fight back against Islamist militants. Now, that's because of the current political situation in Mali. The country's come under increased international pressure since its military recently went back on an agreement to hold elections in February. The junta now plans on staying in power until 2025. Relations with France have also frayed over the crisis, over comments made about the transitional government. On Monday, Bamako gave France's ambassador just 72 hours to leave. The French foreign minister has since said that that will not stop counter-terrorism operations in the Sahel over the standoff, but has slammed Mali's alleged reliance on Russian mercenaries from the Wagner Group.
Our will is intact. This event, caused by the irresponsibility, no, let me be clear, caused by the illegitimacy of a coup d'etat government, will not make us stop our fight against terrorism. Mali is a Malian issue. Mali is so isolated today that its only partners are Wagner's Russian mercenaries. That's all they can find. Mali's only partner is Wagner. All the others want Mali to return to democracy and to the fight against terrorism.
With fewer than 1,500 new COVID-19 cases reported at the start of the week, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced that the country has officially exited the fourth wave of the pandemic that began in November 2021. Following this news, Germany and the Netherlands will now allow vaccinated people to travel there from South Africa without having to quarantine. And preparations are underway for students to head back to school next week. Nadine Theron tells us more.
For the first time since March 2020, South African learners are returning to school full-time next Monday. Up until now, they've had to attend classes on an online and rotational basis. But in a country where much of the population does not have access to the internet, this broadened the educational inequality gap and led to a rise in the school dropout rates and teenage pregnancies. One thing that will make teachers' lives much easier is that learners don't need to stay a meter apart anymore. By now, the vast majority of teachers have been fully vaccinated. The presidency announced a few more major changes to level 1 lockdown regulations with immediate effect. The biggest change is that people who test positive for COVID-19 but are asymptomatic don't need to isolate anymore, while those with symptoms only need to isolate for 7 days and not 10 as before. Those who've come in contact with positive COVID-19 cases only need to isolate if they develop symptoms. These decisions were informed by the rise in the portion of the population who have developed immunity against COVID-19, and that's estimated to be between 60 and 80%. But only 41% of South Africa's adult population is fully vaccinated. The government is offering food vouchers to over 50s in return for getting the jab. The official opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, has called for a complete end to the national state of disaster in order to help boost the economy's recovery.
Nadine Thero there for us. Now, taking a look back at one of the standout moments of the Africa Cup of Nations tournament, Rwandan referee Salima Mukansanga made AFCON's 65-year history when she became the first female ref to officiate a game. France 24's sports reporter James Vazina sat down with Salima as she blew the whistle on her experience as the pioneer on Africa's biggest footballing stage.
I was really excited because I started being a FOF official for the 2 games. And then when I got an appointment to officiate, then I say, okay, now this is my time, this is the chance I get, this is the moment. So I'm going to deliver, I'm going to show that I'm ready and I'm capable. I'm going to show the world that even a woman can be dominating, can be a referee in men's game. So from that moment, I was really excited and just scared.
How does this make you feel? How do you feel about taking on this role?
This is an honor. It's a privilege. I'm going to encourage young women, especially young women. They're now looking at me, please wake up and then work hard. This is the moment. Today it's Salma, maybe tomorrow it's going to be someone else. We are here to work hard to show men, hey, you know guys, we can deliver, we can be on the level you are. We can go inside the field of play, take decision and run according to our pace. You know, we can't run like men, we can't sprint like men, but we can show them that even if we are women, we can be on the level of officiating a game, taking decision, and being where we have to be at the same time, and then take decision and be in a proper moment, and then understanding what football needs and the demand of the game. Yeah.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks for joining us. Do so again. Take care.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.